I'm always amazed what healing arts can do.
Just doing my job. No need.
Hey.
Hmm?
Is it just me, or have those two barely spoken a single word to one another?
I know, right? But after everything that happened with Miguel, is it really any wonder?
Kinda puts a damper on the whole journey though, huh? How long do you think they're gonna keep this up?
If it bothers you that much, why don't you ask them?
Why do I have to ask?
How come you walk together like that?
She really doesn't beat around the bush.
You mean Kisara and myself?
You hadn't noticed? You've been practically joined at the hip ever since we left Vicente.
I guess it's force of habit, most likely. I was always ready to protect him, should the need arise. It sort of came with the job description.
Right. From being in the Elder Menancia Guard. Although, Dohalim's pretty capable of defending himself, isn't he?
Having guards doesn't necessarily mean the one being guarded is weak. No one's perfect all the time.
Even so, it's not like they're entirely wrong, Kisara. You're no longer in my employ, after all.
I don't know. I mean, if it's what she's used to and you're both comfortable with it, then who are we to judge?
But she doesn't serve him anymore. It isn't normal for her to keep following him around like she still does.
You know, she's probably right. And a lot has changed over the last few days. I guess it wouldn't hurt to rethink our relationship in light of the new circumstances. Perhaps I'll give it some thought after all. Does that sound all right by you?
Of course.
You might want to stop asking his permission for every little thing while you're at it.
Sorry. It's not that easy, shaking off old habits. I'll probably need a little time to get fully used to it. I've noticed that sometimes we come across enemies who fight like you, and try to dodge our attacks at the last second.
I hate those guys. I can get some hits in when they move into attack, but otherwise they slip past damn near everything else I throw at them.
If what you're seeking is a way to more reliably hit them, there is a solution.
Try to outclass them on reflexes?
I possess the ability to command Earth elemental beings to some extent. They emerge as the land itself and take root on my command. They will swiftly bind the enemies, at which point you can dispatch them.
Huh?
What he means is that he can make plants grow to hold the enemies in place. At least I think that's probably what he's saying.
I'm glad at least one of us understands him. So basically, if we find an enemy that likes to dodge, we should let Dohalim handle it.
I shall do what I can within my modest means to help.
you looking at me like that?
That armor you wear is standard issue for the Menancian Guard, right?
Originally, I've added some flair to it in a lot of places.
I noticed, especially with that open back.
We guardsmen pride ourselves on never showing our back to our enemies. It's my way of making myself live up to that. Plus, it makes it that much lighter and easier to maintain.
Dohalim, do you have anything to say about this?
Every guardsman is allowed to wear their armor as they see fit.
And you, Law?
Huh? Why are you asking me?
Thanks for waiting. Eat as much as you like.
Kisara, let's talk for a bit. Maintaining your shield? It's becoming a familiar sight.
Miguel was the one who taught me how to maintain my equipment after I first joined the Guard. Now, it's just a part of my routine.
Your brother always seems to come up whenever I talk to you.
That's because we had no other relatives, so it was just the two of us growing up. He was my idol, the one I looked up to and wanted to be like. When I became a guardsman, Lagiel wasn't too pleased to see me at first. It was Miguel who really welcomed me aboard.
Lagiel? Oh, right. She was Miguel's second in the Gold Dust Cats, wasn't she?
That's right. She's always been a very critical and down-to-earth person. In other words, the complete opposite of a dreamer like me.
You're more an idealist than some pie-in-the-sky dreamer.
Even so, that's my brother's doing. He'd never let me stop seeing a brighter world. He always did what he could to keep me smiling and happy.
You must have meant a lot to him.
He wasn't just kind, either. He always worked so hard to set an example for me and everyone else around him. He was a true big brother. So much so that when he thought I was asleep, he'd slip out of the house to go training on the outskirts of town.
You seem to know a lot about it.
That's because I only pretended to be asleep and would follow after him. You know what? I'm at a good stopping point with my shield. If you've got time, how about I tell you a couple more Miguel stories?
I guess I'd better get comfortable.
I'll take watch tonight. It's okay. Before we go, do you guys have everything?
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
I just noticed none of you other Danans have spirit cores. Why is that?
Both of my parents were part of the resistance in Calaglia. In fact, my birth was kept a secret from the Renans.
Mine too. We always lived in hiding, so I never had a spirit core embedded in me like I was supposed to.
What about you, Alphen? You were a slave in Calaglia before all this, weren't you?
To be completely honest, I'm not sure why I don't have one. All the other Danan slaves around me did. I was the only exception. They tended to keep their distance from me to avoid attracting any attention from the soldiers, because of my mask and all. What about you, Kisara? Do you still have your spirit core?
No. I was able to find a good Renin doctor who's sympathetic to our kind, and had them remove it before I left. They did such a great job, the procedure didn't even leave a scar.
One of the benefits of coexistence, huh?
I know that once the spirit vessel was shut down, there wasn't much need for me to hurry. But still, I didn't like having that mark of servitude lingering on me any longer than I had to. It may sound a little strange to hear me say this, but I'm just me now. Not a guardsman or a slave. I'm my own woman, and this is my chance to have a new beginning.
This sure is one rugged road. You'd think they'd keep this at least a little better maintained, right?
Why spend energy fixing that which is rarely used? Repairs require time and effort, which in our world means slaves, often in great numbers. For you, it may be a simple request, but that can quickly become another's difficult burden. Nobody gains anything without someone expending effort.
And you know, somehow that someone always ends up being a Danon, while the Renins are the ones who gain.
True enough. Ideally, in a perfect world, I think it's only fair that the ones who need it should be the ones to perform the work.
However, when doing so could be dangerous like it is here, there are many who would prefer that it be others who risk their lives in their stead.
So, what you're saying is that people will just put up with the inconvenience until someone else comes along to fix it for them?
Indeed. And it is those who can no longer bear that feeling that inevitably take action. Much like the Danons in our group do so now. As strange as it may be to hear such a thing from the likes of myself.
It's true that most of the Danons in Calaglia have been resigned to just accepting things as they are. Still, we can't just blame them for...
What are you making that face for? You're not worn out already, are you?
Nah, just regretting I ever said anything in the first place.
Don't get careless.
Don't tell me!
That dragon swarm! I'm not done!
Tiger Blade! Right here. I've got mine.
Dragon swarm!
Pesky airborne scoundrels!
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
Plasma shot! Stardust! Rising Phoenix!
This one's mine. I'm out of ammo. I'm all
Take this! Here I come! You're mine! It's over! Dragon swarm!
Time to stop. Do it!
Explosive ring!
This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes!
I know fine weapon material when I see it.
All right.
There's nowhere to run from my arc! If he slows down, that's our chance!
Time to shine.
No
Trying to
further!
keep up with the walls in the shadows.
Dragon swarm!
Mega Ray. Tiger Blade.
Pain.
Going in.
Too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Take this!
Tiger
The
Blade.
earth throbs in pain.
Gemini Aqua. Divine Streak. Judgment Spin.
No further!
Lightning.
You require a hand.
Shield Force.
Look out!
Here's evil!
Rise
Now!
of Phoenix!
Freeze Lancer! Here goes! Here's a raging cascade! There! Here! We're only getting started! Let's get you all tucked away! Do it!
Ring! Jump!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Got some interesting moves there, Dohalim. I'm glad you're on our side.
I'm simply glad to hear that I can make myself useful to you all. Huh?
What's wrong?
We seem to have come across some rather unusual objects.
What, you mean that pile of garbage?
No mere garbage, I assure you. Still, I've never seen anything shaped like it before. I'm intrigued.
Are you curious about this stuff, Rinwell?
Yeah. I think he might have found some old Danon relics. They look like the remains of a bunch of objects that disappeared after the Renans first invaded.
And yet here I am, holding them without so much as a second thought. I imagine the sight must be unsettling to you.
Not really, just that it must be nice to be a Renan who has time to indulge in stuff like that, unlike the rest of us.
Are you interested in this stuff too, Dohalim?
Charmed may be a better turn of phrase. I simply love objects that can give me a sense of what their maker was thinking, the history that went into their creation. You see, we Renans have hardly any such objects that trace back to our distant past.
I still don't understand what you two find so intriguing about it, though.
Why not? We're talking about our own culture here.
I get that, but it's not like this stuff is any use now, does it? It's just old. Real old.
Oh, but it does. Holding it in your hands like this, one can feel and engage with the distant past in a way no history book can ever accomplish.
I'll take your word for it. Well, seeing as it's Danon history, just make sure you're careful with it. All right, Dohalim?
But of course.
I sense a strange power from this.
Good to know my training is paying off.
Visibility along this path will remain limited for some time. Take care not to get ambushed.
I'm surprised you know the terrain here so well. Lords don't strike me as having much time for wandering in the woods.
Sometimes I would take strolls along here when I wish to be alone.
You always did have a bad habit of disappearing without telling any of us guardsmen.
Permanent render!
Take this!
Top field!
It's over!
Mega ray!
In a vine!
It's a duel of the arts!
Stop! Here! Dragon form!
Thunder field!
Try this!
Tiger blade!
Leave the ensnaring
Leave the enemy arts to me!
No place here!
First aid!
Look sharp! One more! You're mine! You're finished!
I'm charged on blade! Sleep now!
Nicely done, Shion.
You're slacking. Step it up.
Done. Yeah. You got it.
Here's a healing art!
Wow, let me. Dragon form!
Time to shine!
Try this! This
One
one's
more!
our line!
This one's mine! Judgment I'll heal you all!
Now enough.
Fire blade! Healing castle!
Blast the shock!
Did you just heal me?
Yes. I need you, remember?
Right.
You're finished!
One at a time!
Piercing roar! Try this!
Do it!
Explosive ray!
Raging cascade! Time to shine! Sleep now! None shall escape my
This one is mine. Judgment spin.
Sword Rain Alpha!
Do it! Tiger blade!
River!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
This should come in handy when crafting weapons.
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
Storm! Stardust! Look sharp! Rising Phoenix!
Here's a healing ray! I'm not so good with airborne
finished.
targets.
Dragon form!
Do it! Astral energy! Full throttle!
Here I come! You're finished!
Arrow squall!
You're mine! You're finished!
I'm on a roll!
Rising Phoenix!
Your power is a spectacle to behold.
Take it!
I'm not trying to be dramatic with it.
Make it rain!
It's a part of you. Embrace it.
What the?
Take this!
I'm gone! Slow flight!
That extra training paid off.
It's so hilly around here. I can feel my feet getting blisters.
That's mountain hiking for you. It can be pretty tough if you're not used to these sorts of trails.
I take it you're comfortable with them then?
Oh yeah. We used to run up and down these slopes all the time for our training exercises.
Damn. You weren't messing around.
I've got a really bad feeling about this. Shall escape my judgment.
Explosive ring!
Don't mind if I do.
Denied! This one's mine!
Here goes.
I'll take you all on! It's over!
Do it! Flying freak! Why can't they just sit still?
Sia, can you
So
take
those
care of
that
them?
dance
No sooner said than done.
An astral bite?
That's my cue.
Shut him down!
Seal. This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
See you continue on in that vein.
Yes, my lady?
Something you wanted to say?
Explosive ring!
Tiger blade. I feel stronger. I mean, a bit.
Good. We're counting on you, Rinwell.
On me? Well, I'll do my best.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Dragon form!
Don't worry, I've got plenty to go around.
Artists are coming through.
Take
My
this!
astral energy. Not on my watch.
Going in.
It's over!
Reload. Glacial spear.
Shut up!
Here's the wind.
This one's
The enemy wields
Make
arts
it
too.
rain!
We'll soon see about that. Astral energy. Full throttle.
This one's mine.
I'm not done!
Tiger blade!
Dragon form!
And just like that, I'm back in it. Start by holding the front line. No sooner said than done.
Sleep now.
Time to shine. Leave the charges to me.
Stardust!
Go in and make it rain.
Astral energy.
Say no more!
Barely a blip on our radar. bad feeling about this.
No further!
One more!
Going in! One more!
Arrow blade! Gravitas field!
Explosive ring!
Mega ray!
You're mine!
Here now!
Blast the shot!
Going in!
Here I come! It's over!
I can only rely
Come
on
and
my
face me!
Prepare to be sealed.
Looking fearsome,
Less talking,
Manuel.
more doing. You must be rubbing off on me.
Let's kick some ass, kid.
So those are Dan and Astral energy! Full throttle!
This one's mine.
It wasn't weak. Raging storm!
It's over!
Time to shine.
Azure Storm!
Falling
Take
storm.
it!
Raging storm! Burning strike!
Dragon
Here's evil!
Explosive ring!
I think the enemy's getting desperate.
Got them where we want them.
Don't tip your hand, though.
These little ones are hardly Get toasty!
Bird strike!
Everyone hanging in there?
I found some equipment.
Let me take... Go look at it.
More Danon ruins here too, I see.
What were people even thinking back then? Trying to build anything around here.
Maybe they just had that much time and energy on their hands.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Try this!
Glacial spear!
Explosive ring!
Lightning orb! Freeze lantern! That's it! Raging
Blast the
cascade!
shock!
Healing shield!
Soda!
War for the stockpile!
Here I come!
I never miss!
It's over!
Well, we're on the home stretch now.
Don't take your eyes off the prize.
I'm quite aware without you reminding me.
There's more where that came from.
What's this thing?
Don't get careless.
Dragon Swarm!
Don't tell me!
Damn it! Explosive ring!
Dazzling spin!
Lightning raging! You're mine! This one's mine! This'll come in handy. Here's a healing arc! This one's mine! First aid!
It's over!
Showtime!
Slap
This one's mine! Burning strike! Glacial spear! Pierce evil! We managed to turn the tide!
For now. But things could shift at a moment's notice.
You're right. Better stay alert. Do it! Astral energy!
Say no more!
There's more where that came from.
I sure have built up a sweat with this hike.
Rest assured, we have reached the top. It's all downhill from here, quite literally.
So Mahag Sar's just up ahead then?
Indeed. If you look, across this mountain is the Lord's Keep.
What's this place here? Some kind of old house?
I don't know about that. If I
have a bad feeling about this.
This one's mine!
Denied!
Ice tornado! Lightning raging
Falling storm!
Here I go! You're mine!
Tiger
Blade!
You're finished!
Mega ray!
Slap shot!
That's it! Dazzling spin! Power of one!
you!
Rage annihilation! Mega ray!
Dragon form!
Going in!
Explosive ring!
Lightning orb! Time to shine! Glacial
Azure
spear!
storm!
Pierce evil! On guard! In the way! In here!
It's over!
Whoa! Quit staring and concentrate on the fight.
I don't take orders from you.
I need to be stronger.
We're in for a long slog with this one.
Here's the evil!
Look sharp.
Here's a healing arc! First aid!
Get behind me. Look sharp.
That's it!
I think we can get through this.
Don't let up until it's over.
Who said anything about letting off?
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
See you continue on in that vein.
Yes, my lady?
Something you wanted to say?
You really don't...
Nonsense. Who else will cook and clean for me?
You're quite the gunslinger.
I have to be, in this world.
Don't worry, I've got your back.
Through these lands most verdant green, my eyes alight for sights unseen. In Menancia, pure and pristine.
What is it you see exactly?
That's not for me to say.
We're in for a long slog with this one.
Here's the rain! Time to
Dragon
shine!
form!
There! Photon
Try
strike!
this!
On guard!
Explosive ring!
Field!
Tiger blade.
Let's get you all tucked away! Lightning!
Slap shot!
Alright! It's showtime!
Rise
Here!
up!
Listen! I'll be saving this one!
Truck!
Wait! Here's the
Here I come!
Here's a healing arc! Thunder field!
Electric fury!
sprightlier than before.
An opponent like this should be easy.
Like moths to the flame.
Dragon Swarm!
Up and at 'em, let's go!
This one's mine.
In here!
Dragon Swarm!
I'll be saving this one!
That's it.
Healing circle!
Now it's left.
Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
Try this!
That's it.
Explosive ring! Now, take this!
We managed to turn the tide!
For now. But things could shift at a moment's notice.
You're right. Better stay alert. My astrology! Mega ray!
Rising Phoenix!
By the power of
Do
wind!
it.
Take this!
More.
I never miss! Arch shield!
That gun of yours is real handy in a pinch.
It takes a true marksman to use.
Well,
Here's a healing
can't think of
arc.
anyone better than you, Shiazi.
Thanks!
With this, I can become even stronger.
This'll make us even more formidable.
I think Hoodle's hungry.
Funny. I could have sworn that was your stomach making all the racket.
Brace yourselves! This one's tough!
Going in.
Rising Phoenix! Take this! You're finished!
This one's
Pesky airborne scoundrels.
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
You're mine! It's over! Double Demon Fang!
These little ones are hardly worth our time.
Less talking, more pummeling.
Cut them apart to your heart's content.
Everyone still in one piece?
Yep. I barely worked up a sweat.
opponent like this should be easy. Try this!
Explosive Tiger Blade! Radio Blade! In here!
Plasma shock!
Here I go!
Stardust!
Blind freak! Why can't they just sit still?
Sia, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done! I do!
Dragon Swarm!
Lightning Lord!
It's over!
Looking good out there.
Just getting started!
That's the spirit. Take no prisoners. Your power is a spectacle to behold.
I'm not trying to be dramatic.
Do
with
it! Tiger
Leave the
Blade!
enemies. Go for it!
Prepare to crumble. Think we overdid it? Not by a long shot.
We Astral Energy! Raging
Explosive Ring!
Mega Field!
Tiger
You're
Blade!
mine!
This'll come in handy!
It's over!
On guard!
Now you see what I can
Make
do!
it rain!
Gemini Aqua! Astral Energy!
Say no more!
You sure showed them!
All in a day's work. Still thinking about how to act around Dohalim?
That obvious, huh? Except I don't think I'll be changing much after all. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to stay his servant. However, I am going to treat him like a fellow comrade, the same way I would with you or anyone else. For as long as I can remember, I've spent my life protecting others. But isn't that what friends do too? Support and protect one another in times of need?
Which in the end pretty much means doing as you've always done, right? If that's what you're most comfortable with, I'm certainly not going to give you any grief over it.
Actually, I've been thinking about how I ought to act around you all as well.
Oh?
When I set out on this journey, it was to rid Eldaman and Sia of its enemies, and search for wisdom in the outside world. Wisdom that I could potentially put to use on my return. I'm grateful to you all for letting me tag along. But it got me thinking, what am I actually contributing by being here?
What are you talking about? You know how to hold a weapon, don't you? That's help enough.
Is it though? Sometimes I wish there was more I could be doing to pull my...
Oops, sorry about that. Jeez, I'm famished.
Now that you mention it, what do you guys normally do for food and meals when you're out and about on your travels?
What do you mean, what do we do? We find stuff to eat and eat it. So long as it's meat, I'm not fussy.
Eating what you like can be good for morale in the short term, but you need to think about your diet if you want to stay healthy.
Does that mean eating vegetables too?
Isn't that obvious?
It does, which I guess hasn't been happening up till now.
Yeah, to be honest, we could be eating better than we do.
Understood. In that case, I'll just have to make sure you're all staying healthy and eating right myself. Fortunately, I happen to know a thing or two about cooking as well.
You hear that, Law? Sounds like you'll be eating your greens after all.
What is it?
No, sorry, it's just... I was just wondering if you had any thoughts on all this.
It will do her good to have a project.
No, not Kisara. I meant you. Was there anything you wanted to add?
Me? Certainly you're not looking to me for culinary skill, I hope.
Typical Renan, leaving everything to someone else.
Rinwell, I don't think...
That said, should you need my skills on the battlefield, Please rest assured I have no intention of shirking my responsibilities, regardless of who we may face.
I'm sure no one doubts that. Listen, guys, if we're traveling together, we should probably at least try to make an effort to get to know one another, don't you think?
I wouldn't get your expectations too high in that regard. Believe it or not, sometimes I'm not sure I even know myself all that well.
Something wrong? You look like you're deep in thought.
Not exactly. I was merely thinking about you two and your sense of etiquette.
Oh?
Etiquette?
Indeed. To be quite frank, I find your lack of manners to be nigh intolerable.
That's not being frank, that's being an... Forget it. Do we really need to talk about this now?
Yes. I find such impropriety on your parts to be deeply unsettling. It concerns me greatly.
What do you want us to do? We were slaves. We never got to learn how to be proper like you.
Yeah, what he said. Maybe you missed how we were just focused on surviving.
Perhaps, but Kisara here demonstrates that it's quite possible for a Denon to learn proper manners.
That's because I was given the opportunity to learn. Moreover, my duties as a guardsman required it. Not every realm is like Menancia, as you well know.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to hold us to some other city standards.
Exactly. You've got to remember what it's been like for us living under the Rena elsewhere.
I will concede that you do indeed make a valid point. It would appear, for all my espousing the virtues of equality between our peoples, I was still looking down on the two of you.
You don't need to beat yourself up. I wasn't that offended by what you said, man.
Nevertheless, I shall mind my words from here on out. Having said that, I do believe you two would still benefit from learning the basics of proper society. I would be more than happy to teach you both when we camp out, if you like.
Yeah, no, I'll pass. Acting all prim and proper isn't really my style.
If you say so. How about you, Law? Would you like to learn? Although I suppose my first task is to reform your attitude toward the idea of good etiquette.
You're not gonna let this go, are you?
Hey, let's stop for a minute.
What's up? You already tired?
My armor's pretty heavy. I think I need a little rest.
I second that. All of this walking is starting to take its toll on me as well.
What? You don't look it.
We can't spare the time. There's places we need to be. Mahag-Sar's capital, Niez, is our destination right now.
But if one of us collapses, it will only serve to slow us down. And in your case, Alphen is the only one who could carry you. Best to rest while you have the opportunity.
Enough already. I need a break, so we're taking one.
I don't need you fretting over me.
Fretting? Hey, it's not like I'm...
Been looking for you.
For me? Why?
He's tough.
Who are you? You said you were looking for me. Why?
Beautiful, precious life.
What the...
That is all I desire.
Then why are we fighting? Who even are you?
Ready! Annihilate!
Try harder! Plasma shock! Try harder! Who the hell are you? Bastard!
This guy's not normal.
His speed is unbelievable.
You mean he even surpasses a lord?
None shall escape my natural energy.
Here I come!
Ray! Raging star! Here's a healing orb. First aid!
Okay, here I come.
Time to shine.
Take this.
None shall escape my meteor.
Will this help?
Entertain me.
Anything in armor is all mine.
Did you just hear me?
Yes. I need you, remember?
Burn! Entertain me.
One's mine. It's over. Raging
No further.
Look sharp. Sleep now. This one's mine.
Now you see what I can do!
Here.
This one's mine. Let me help now.
Try entertain me. Explosive ring!
This one's mine. I'll heal you all. Firmament Ranger. Healing circle.
I owe you one.
Falling
Just like that, I'm back in.
Start by holding the front line.
No sooner said than done.
one more.
Flaming meteor!
Here.
Will this help?
Champion wall. Healing
Try harder!
Dear
Thousand
throne,
gales.
enjoy.
Mega ray.
Okay, here I go.
Ready and
Here.
ready!
Giant instant.
On guard!
Dragon Swarm!
On guard!
Tempest lightning.
Enjoy.
Falling star.
Try harder.
Spirit flame.
Dragon Swarm!
Reload.
Try this!
I'm out of sync. Wait.
Explosive!
Is that all that you've got? Very well. Then die. A wretch like you? Till next time.
Shion, wake up, please!
Alphen?
Shion!
Thanks, but you're kinda crushing me.
Sorry.
It's okay. And so am I. It's not as bad as it looks.
Not bad. That's... Shion, we thought
I'm
you were...
fine. Really.
What the hell were you thinking?
Well, you were trying to protect me too, you know.
Yeah, but I have the sword. It's different.
It's not different. Besides,
Hmm?
Never mind. It's nothing. Anyway, thank you.
But I didn't... Look, I'm just glad that you're...
Alphen?
Sorry.
That guy said he'd be back. I think maybe we should get moving before he returns, right?
Rinwell has a good point. We need to go. Shion, are you sure you're okay?
Shion, are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, I already applied some healing arts to it. It didn't even leave a scar.
But his sword went nearly straight through you.
I'm all right. Unless I've turned into some kind of ghost and I'm haunting you all right now.
No, I know you're not. It's just...
Look, I appreciate you looking out for me, but I'm fine. Really.
There was also that strange light that appeared when Shion was stabbed. It seemed to make the enemy retreat when he saw it. Alphen, do you have any idea what it might have been?
A light? I don't know. I was kind of preoccupied with other things at the time.
Now that I think of it, between that light and the blazing sword, just what sort of person are you, Alphen? Can you use Danon astral arts like Rinwell, perhaps?
He wouldn't know, Dohalim. He doesn't have any memories from his past, remember? Besides, we should really be getting out of here.
I suppose you're right. Forgive me. We've almost reached Nias, the capital of Mahag Sar. With any luck, we'll find a place there for Shion to rest. Hey.
Finally. If only we could have flown with the wind to get here faster.
How are you holding up after that last fight? You're not too hurt, are you?
I'm fine, really. See for yourself.
If things get too tough out there, go ahead and fall back. I can take a beating if I need to.
I'm not here just to stand around and have everyone protect me.
I get that, but there's nothing wrong with admitting you have weaknesses too.
Do I look like I'm just trying to put on a brave face to you?
I can't feel pain. But you still can, can't you?
Look, I appreciate you're trying to look out for me, but even you go down in fights from time to time. Please, stop trying to babysit me. It's getting old.
It's not that. I just... What's that big tower over there?
You guys want to rest here?
Aw, who's a good boy? Wait, why am I petting you?
Dohalim, your spare bracers were getting dirty, so I polished them up along with the rest of your equipment.
Why, thank you, Kisara. I greatly appreciate that.
Maybe it's just my imagination, but you sure seem to fuss over Dohalim a whole lot, Kisara.
It is a little strange. Almost like you're still in his service.
Really? That's certainly not my intention. Besides, he's not the only one I'm like that with. Hey, Law? I saw your clothes were starting to get holes in them, so I stitched them back up for you.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Kisara.
Point taken. Do you just like looking after people?
I wouldn't go so far as to say I like it, but I get anxious if I don't. I'd always like to help if I can. It comes naturally to me. Back in the day, Miguel and I used to look after the younger kids a lot, so that's probably where it comes from. He taught me everything I know, and I mean everything. How to cook with wild plants, how to sew clothes so they'll last. Without him, we never would have been able to survive.
However, you're not a lord anymore, Dohalim. You need to get used to the idea that people aren't just going to wait on you hand and foot.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm ashamed to admit that I felt no qualms about her doing all that for me. As both a Renan and especially as a lord, one becomes too accustomed to those beneath you tending to your every need, both Renans and Danans alike.
Sure, that's how all you Renans are probably raised. But just to be clear, we're not your servants, Dohalim. Got that?
Absolutely. Moments such as this provide me with ample opportunity to confront my unease. It is difficult to tend with my own motivations.
What do you mean?
The truth of the matter is that my espousal of coexistence in Menancia hardly came from an idealistic place. That instinctive unease I feel deep within serves as a reminder for what it is that all of us here fight for.
Don't be so hard on yourself. No one's going to abandon you if you aren't always perfect.
Looking at her now, I think she's more like his mom than his servant.
all done. Come and eat.
That's your 12th serving.
Damn, that's gotta be a record.
Even seeing it for myself, I can hardly believe it. Where is her body storing it all?
Oh, have you guys already had enough? Did you not like what I fixed?
No, it's just...
We're just amazed at how much you can wolf down.
Doesn't it hurt even a little? Aren't you feeling heartburn or something?
Oh, this is nothing. You know what they say? You always have more room for dinner.
I'm pretty sure that's what they say about dessert, actually.
Plus, this is Noki we're talking about. That stuff just sits in your stomach.
I swear, I'll never understand you Renans.
Kisara, let's talk for a bit.
Sorry for rambling on so much about my past earlier.
Don't sweat it. It was fun hearing you reminisce about the good old days.
Come on, you don't have to pretend with me. I know I can tend to go on sometimes, when it comes to my brother.
You said it, not me. Anyway, I don't think it's something for you to be embarrassed about.
Hey, Alphen. When you were a kid, was there ever a time when you had to bury someone younger than you?
Well, it's hard to say. I'm guessing that you have, though.
Yeah. During the previous crown contest, with the Lord before Dohalim. Life back then was truly hell. I think that's why I tried to ignore what Miguel was telling me for so long. Because I was afraid of going back to such a dark time. Of losing hope. I wanted to believe in our paradise so much that I doubted the one person I should have trusted most. I don't blame blame Dohalim for that. I simply didn't want to face facts. And I ended up trying to project my ideals onto everyone else.
It's strange. Whenever you and Dohalim talk about Menancia, it's always like it's some big failure. We're talking about fixing 300 years worth of damage here. Isn't it a bit optimistic to think it was all going to be resolved after only 5?
You might be right. Maybe it was a mistake when Menancia... No. When I decided to stop seeing the darkness in our society. I have to admit the truth. To myself, first of all. I'll take watch tonight. It's okay. Rise and shine. We're almost ready to leave.
Guess I misread the landing. Not this way, I guess. Not this way, I guess.
Finally. If only we could have flown with the wind to get here faster.
Are we in the right place? This place looks like a mess.
Yes, this is Niez, the capital of Mahag Sar.
I don't see any signs of people. And the buildings.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like the kind of place people would actually live.
No soldiers, no Danans, not a soul to be seen. Yet look at these facades. This is clearly a Renin district.
Hey, check out that drawing on the castle gate. That's the Darkwing's crest. It's from an old Danan legend about a hero who defeated an evil king with a torch and their trusty owl. That's his crest. I'm sure of it.
Really? First time I'm hearing it. So if someone drew it on the gate...
It must mean the Renans have lost control of the city.
Are you suggesting the Danans rose up and defeated the Lord here? Hard to believe, but not entirely unthinkable, given the evidence.
Let's look around and see if we can find someone. They might be able to tell us what happened. This is horrible.
Is there truly no one here?
All of these ruins look like they were made pretty recently.
But if that's the case, then where do you think the people that used to live here went off to? There must have been Danans and Renans, right?
That's a good question. Even if the Danans rebelled and managed to overthrow the Renans here, there should still be some people around.
This debris... Do you think it could be the work of Renan astral arts?
Perhaps, but the appearance of these ruins is rather uniform, which leads me to believe otherwise.
Hey, Rinwell. That story you told us about the Dark Wings. It said that the evil king was vanquished with a holy flame, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Then there might be some truth to that old story after all. It looks like all the rubble here had been scarred by flames.
Let's not jump to any conclusions just yet. If we can find someone around here, we might be able to get them to tell us what happened. Dohalim, you forgot to take care of the fire yesterday.
What do you mean, take care of? Ah, yes. You meant to put it out?
Yep. If it stays lit, we could end up in real trouble real fast.
I see. I apologize for not realizing that. I shall be more careful in the future.
The way he's talking, it's like the thought of putting it out himself never even occurred to him.
Moving on, Dohalim, I should mention that the clasp for your cape is about to come undone.
Oh yes, I tried to fix that myself, but it simply refused to cooperate with me.
I can't believe I'm hearing this. Are you telling me Renans can't even dress themselves?
Lords like Dohalim have attendants that take care of just about everything they need, so I'm not surprised he sometimes struggles with the basics.
Even by those standards, you've got to admit this is still a little extreme.
Shionna's got a point. I mean, you don't see Renans like her needing so much help to get stuff done.
In my case, circumstances forced me to learn how to be independent. Even so, I still think Dohalim could afford to pick up a few more self-sufficient skills.
Well, specifically speaking, what would you suggest that I learn?
For starters, I think it'd be good for you to learn how to dress. And put on shoes. How to comb your hair is equally important. and learning to manage your possessions better. And then from there...
She sounds like his mom rattling all that off.
Oh, and another thing. About your owl, Rinwell.
What is it?
When he starts to molt, would you be willing to give me his old feathers? I think I could find a use for them.
What do you intend to do with those?
Well, recently, I haven't been sleeping well. However, I hear pillows made from owl feathers are very comfortable and wish to make one.
This is why I hate you, Renans!
Did I say something offensive?
Next time, put your own needs aside for a second and think about how someone might react first. Then consider if it's worth asking at all.
Hoo-hoo! Hoo-hoo!
Look, Hoodle! One of your buddies! Woo!
What are those out in the valley? Windmills? They're huge.
They're most likely used to harvest wind astral energy, so they have to be big.
All of you, stop right there! Don't move!
They have us surrounded.
Who are you? Where did you come from?
You first! Show yourself!
I'm the one asking the questions here. Don't try anything funny. One wrong move, and I guarantee we'll blow you away.
What are you...
My name is Alphen. I came here from Calaglia.
Alphen? The wielder of the blazing sword?
Getting pretty famous, isn't he?
Here is my proof. Will that suffice? Or do I have to burn down one of those houses to make my point?
No need. I believe you. I'm Beifong, of the Darkwings. Sorry for threatening to blow you away. We're still hunting down the remnants of the enemy forces, so everyone's more than a bit on edge right now. Please forgive me.
Remaining? Wait, you mean you already took down the Lord of this realm?
That's right. We took her weapons and turned them right back on her.
Are you the Danon leader here in Niez?
Nah, I'm just one of the commanders. Deadeye's the one who runs the show. I'd be happy to take you to him. Just one problem. The Renans. Seems the rumors you were running with them were true. You do understand, right? I mean, we only just liberated the city from their kind. Everyone's short on trust. And for good reason. Especially Deadeye. I think it'd be best if those two waited outside.
Not going to happen.
I don't think it's a good idea for us to split up. It's too dangerous.
Then it's on your head, friend. Our base is that way.
You could have left me behind, you know.
This isn't just about you, Dohalim.
Yes.
I guess even after you beat the Renans, your work's only really just begun, huh?
Yeah. This place seems like it's got a lot of issues to fix. Not this way, I guess.
So you're Elfin, are ya? Thought you'd be bigger. Huh. Guess the armor beefs you up a bit. You've got a lot of people talking, you know. But in this town, I call the shots. You play by my rules here. Just remember that. Gotta say, I didn't expect you to run with a gang of women and kids. Those other lords must have been real pushovers, huh?
Seriously? Are you this rude to everyone you meet?
Don't interrupt me, you brat. Didn't your parents teach you any manners?
What, you?
So you're the one who took down the lord of this realm, huh? How'd you pull that off?
We just swiped the Renan's explosives. And then we blasted them all to hell and back.
Explosives? That's a pretty bold approach. But how'd you manage to avoid hurting your own people?
I didn't, that's how. But the chance to take out a lord was worth the sacrifice.
And the Lord? What did this sacrifice earn you?
Unfortunately, we couldn't manage to finish her off. But now we've really got the girl on the run.
She ran? A lord?
Yeah, the lady was just a coward. She had a whole lot more bark than bite, that's for sure. She's probably hiding off in a hole somewhere. But not for long. We'll find her and drag her right back into town. Then she'll get what's coming to her.
I wouldn't be so sure. She may run, but she'll never go quietly.
Shut up, Bright Eyes! I would have run you through already if you weren't with the blazing sword here.
The whole reason you're fighting is to free the Danans in this realm, is it not? If
Shut
so,
your
then—
mouth, witch! That's enough! If you're really fighting for us Danans, why keep these bastards around? Why haven't you killed them already?
I'm not going to kill these bastards.
Oh. Is that the case, huh? Then tell me the point of this show.
They're my friends.
Friends? Renans are Renans. They're the scum-sucking bastards who've been draining our souls for 300 years now! But you knew that. Maybe it's 'cause you and that little lady are friends and more.
Son of a... You'll pay for that!
That's enough! Deadeye, you know that was completely uncalled for.
All of you, get the hell out of my realm! And don't ever come back! This is Danan's realm and it's ours, understand? I call the shots here. And I make the rules. I do, Deadeye, leader of the Dark Wings!
Yeah! Deadeye! Liberator Deadeye! You are the true leader of this realm! We're not afraid of any Bright Eyes!
It's only a matter of time before I throw every last
Let's go.
Bright Eye out of this realm!
The Dark Wings! The Dark Wings rule!
Hey, wait up! Told you so, didn't I? You should have left your Renan pals outside.
You don't agree with him, do you? I could tell by the look on your face in there.
That's how things are with him. He loses his temper, then I step in and calm things down.
Better you than me.
If that's all, I think it's past time we were going.
Look, I just wanted to apologize for what Deadheim said in there.
At least somebody's got some manners around here.
He didn't used to be like that. But, well, that's what losing most of your loved ones will do to a man. He may never forgive the Renans.
It's a little ironic how indistinguishable his manner is to that of a lord.
Hey, Beifan? Deadeye mentioned the Lord is still on the run. Any ideas where she might be?
We looked all over, but found no traces of her. We heard some rumblings about activity in Estaluva Forest, but that's it.
Estaluva, huh?
Wait, you're not going after her, are you? Certainly won't win you any favors with Deadheim.
This isn't Deadheim's war, and we're certainly not fighting it for him. Besides, it's like Shion said, her type isn't going to go quietly.
Hey, it's your funeral. Don't say I didn't warn you.
We'll be sure to keep you out of it. Before we set out, though, is there anywhere around here we can rest?
Sure. Building at the end of the road, opposite side. It's all yours. We use it as temporary lodging, to house people who don't have a new place to live quite yet.
We're not going to run into any trouble there, are we?
Rumors of a certain fiery sword have spread fast. I doubt anyone will be eager to give you guys problems. And here's where I say my farewell. You're on your own, but good hunting.
Before you go, how come you don't hate the Renans as well?
Oh, believe me, I've got my bone to pick with the Renans. Just not with two of them I've never so much as laid eyes on before.
Let's head on over to that lodge. We'll figure out what our next move is there.
I get the feeling Deadheim signed up to be a rebel so he could have a rooster rule. Heck, he's no better than a lord. In some ways, he's even worse.
I know. How could he use explosives on his own people?
And yet, despite the toll of his actions, none of the Danans we've seen seem to question his assumed authority in the least. If anything, they may well consider him a hero, which would say a great deal toward how deeply they resented the Renans here.
Still, I don't think this is as simple as saying the good guys won out over the bad ones.
Yeah, I don't either. Deadeye might have managed to drive the Renans out of Niaz, but that doesn't make the way he did it okay. No matter which way you look at it.
A victory that's earned by throwing away the lives of his own people? No, that isn't a victory at all. I can understand that the Danans here are standing up against their oppression, but that doesn't mean they have to humiliate all Renans just to settle the score.
I'm perfectly able to stand up for myself, Alphen. Besides, I'm used to it by...
But you shouldn't have to be, Shion. It's just... What I mean to say is... When you've been a slave for so long, it's easy to accept that's how it should be because it's all you've ever known. Constantly being belittled is no different. I don't think that's fair. For me or for you.
I just don't know, man.
Don't know what?
Deadeye managed to drive out a real live Renan lord. That's incredible. And he seems to have a lot of supporters surrounding him, too. But he's got an attitude worse than any angry Zoogle. Plus, Niaz is in utter ruins. I don't have a clue what his game is.
The Renans are powerful. And because of that, it takes a strong leader to have any hope of toppling them. However, when you take down one dictator only to replace them with another, ultimately it's just business as usual.
If it'd been Zephyr instead of Deadeye, I don't think things would have turned out like this.
Rinwell!
Yeah, I think so too. Zephyr did things differently top to bottom. He's not the kind of person who would have forced his own views or decisions on other people. When you do that, you're ruling over others, not leading them.
To be honest, I don't know what I would have wanted my dad to do if he was in that position.
Law.
The whole thing feels weird in a way. It's a weird kind of feeling, but at the same time, part of me also feels happy. Deadeye and my dad are two very different men. For now, I'm content knowing that.
The city is liberated, and yet the air still hums with fear and anxiety. It reminds me all too well of how Vicente once was.
Hums? You mean like music?
Yeah, none of this sounds like music to my ears. In fact, I've never seen any Danins with musical instruments in my life.
You don't need instruments to play music. It can emerge naturally from the sounds of people going about their day and the hustle and bustle of life.
You seem to care a lot about music, Dohalim. I didn't know that about you.
Have I not mentioned it? Before I was a candidate for the lordship, I had my heart set on the life of a musician.
You? A musician?
Indeed, music enriches the world around us. I trained day and night to hone my art. Words could not describe my bliss, as my notes carried with them the sights and sounds of nature, the ebb and flow of time, and the thoughts of people on the wind.
Dohalim.
Forgive me. My loquaciousness can get the best of me at times.
Don't apologize. It's interesting hearing what Renan culture is like.
Even though the Renans destroyed all of our arts and culture.
Personally, I was interested in the music of Dana as well. The fact that generations of lords deemed music to be of no use to their slaves and outright forbade the ownership of instruments is lamentable. Not that my words can undo the damage already done.